What's up, YouTube? It's RainingCardGames, and it has been a while since we've released a video, but it feels good to be back behind the camera. Now, we're visiting, possibly, I'd say, it's one of my favorite decks. I really love this archetype, and I've been meaning to get around to updating this deck since the last time I've showcased it on the channel. And I feel with the new support that we've got for the deck, it is time. It is indeed time, and it is Alien. So Alien, for those of you who don't know, is a very old archetype. It was released back in the GX era. So it has been around for a while. The whole archetype revolves around A counters, which can, in some cases, be used for attack reduction. But in newer cases, it can be used for card advantage and also, and now, effect negation, which is something that I really like because it gives the entire strategy, specifically for a control build, a feasible and playable game strategy. Now, how are we doing this? Well, there's a couple of things that I'd like to point out that I've modified since my last deck list. So, first off, we do have the quick way to spam out our Alien Shock Trooper if we need to, so Unexpected Dies and our one Shock Trooper. This does come up if we want to go into plays to bring out our Nat Beast, which is a viable option to end on in some cases. The new support that came out in Dawn of Majesty, Alien Stealth Buster, it is an auto include as our go-to level 4. Places A counters, really good when we're link climbing to help with the combos. Also has a secondary effect, which does come up where you can banish it to pop cards that have A counters on it. It does come up every now and then. Our go-to tuner, which is normal summon Ammonite, special summon an alien from the grave. Pretty good. Alien Kid becomes super relevant with the new support. So Alien Kid basically places an A counter on any special summoned monster that is on the opponent's field. Keep this in mind for later. Dog is just an extender that places A counters. Night Sword Serpent, really good new reptile supports card along with a couple other reptile supports. We're also including the new Reptilians, this stuff that came out in Burst of Destiny. Yama is actually a hand trap that can help us either get over big targets or keep our targets on the field, but it's also an extender in the grave that is a tuner. So this is pretty neat. Adhara is basically our way to get into Nat Beast. A-Cell Recombination Device, ways to place counters, also search stuff going after turn 1. Mysterious Triangle is a way to deal with threats that have A counters as well as gain us advantage. Extension with Code Ancient Ruins says a monster reborn with A counters. Snake Rain basically gives us ways to dump monsters that we want in the graveyard, like Night Sword Serpent, which is a free special summon. But it also helps with graveyard setup with stuff like Self Buster. Viper's Rebirth is just Monster Reborn for reptiles. So we're running it at 3, 1 for 1. And then we have a Solemn Package, which is always helpful. Planet Pollutant Virus, way to get A counters on the field if we don't have an alien on field, but we need them. And then Mass Hypnosis to, snatch, steal 3 monsters. Pretty good. But the extra deck. First, let's talk about the new support. Cosmic Slicer Zelor. This card gives us a clear game strategy. What we're going for. We want to make this turn 1. It's a link 3 reptile. Takes 2+ reptile monsters. Essentially, if we can get 3 with any kind of extenders, for example, we open a Snake Rain, we dump our Night Sword Serpent, we normal summon an Ammonite, special summon back any alien, that's 3 right there, go right into Slicer Zelor, I almost said Slicer. Cosmic Slicer Zerol, I almost said Zelor. Zerol, basically on summon, it gives us a card that can place A counter, so this can be a recombination device, this can be Alien Kid, it can be a wide variety of cards, and it has a secondary effect. We can remove 2 A counters from anywhere, normal summon an alien, or in this case, normal summon again. What we want to do is we want to normal summon Alien Kid. And remember his effect that he places A counters on all special summon monsters on my opponent's field? Cosmic Slicer Zelor has a passive effect. Monsters your opponent controls with A counters are changed to defense position. Also, neither player can activate their effects. It's essentially a skill drain for A counters. Now, it doesn't affect link monsters, which is unfortunate, but if, let's say, this is turn 1 setup, you get an Alien Kid and a Zeril on your first turn setup, their normal summon may go through fine, but anything after that, if they're trying to link climb or anything, or they're trying to pop up and extend, it can really slow down plays. And we also have other ways of disruption, so maybe we may not have another way to, turn a Link monster in a defensive position unless Konami changes the game mechanics, but maybe we might have a Mysterious Triangle, which can deal with stuff that doesn't change in a defense position, so we have ways to out it, or we can just Solemn Strike a Link monster. So all in all, Cosmic Slicer is our way to go for turn 1. But we also have a slew of other good stuff. Shock Trooper is a great way to also distribute 8 counters on your opponent's field or anywhere on the field, and it floats into reptiles if it's destroyed based on the number of alien counters. Hawk, because it can get us into our tuner access and give us ways to go into one of our synchro plays. Echidna is a good way to search as well as deal with large monsters by bringing their attack down. Appaloosa, pretty straightforward. Feral Imps is to search all of our deck because we're all reptiles. And then we have a slew of monsters. So, for example, our archetypal synchro, Cosmic Fortress Golgar. I love this card. I love this card in Ultimate Rare. It's one of my favorite ones. It's basically I can bounce continuous spells on either side of the field to place 8 counters. I can remove 2 8 counters to pop a card on the field. It's pretty good. A target for Hawk. And then we have Hydra, which can give us advantage, especially paired with our Reptilian Echidna. And then our Niami. We have the new Reptilian Synchro, which is a great 8, which can't be destroyed by battle or card effects as long as it's synchroed with a reptile, which we are playing pretty much all reptiles in our main deck. Borload Savage, pretty much Omnigate, and then Final Sigma. If by some way we have Desert Locust and we have something like an Alien Overlord on the field, we can just smack this bad boy in the extra monster zone because we've cleared it with Hawk. So all in all, that's the extra deck. Side deck is really meta game dependent, but I think the game plan is solid going into Cosmic Slicer Zeller. It's a rogue deck. It's more on the casual level, but I really love this deck, and I want to see what this can do. So let's go ahead onto Omega Ranked and see what happens. Okay, we're back from the games. That last game of the final match was disappointing because it ended up being a top deck war, and it could have gone either way. And considering, I would say, arguably Sword Soul is currently the meta contender for this format, I was, yeah, a little frustrated that we couldn't top deck just the right card, but that happens sometimes in Yu-Gi-Oh! And what can you do? But all in all, the deck it's clearly just a rogue. It is not a tier threat yet. Hopefully one day, you never know. But I do enjoy the performance that it can put out. Slicer plus Kid Pass is a formidable lock. Like, it can definitely shut down a lot of decks, especially combo heavy players. So like our Adamantipator match, that shut them down entirely. So it is a very powerful setup. Back row would be a little more interesting, but that's where you can maybe start to dive into some other stuff where you can get a little more creative. So you bring out Cosmic Fortress, you can bounce maybe continuous spells and traps to gain more advantage with those 8 counters. But right now we're not in a terribly, extremely back row control meta. It's very open, but I think Alien is in an interesting spot right now. It's still not quite there yet, but I love this deck so much, and I want it to be the best that it can possibly be. So this deck will probably need a little more fine-tuning, but for now, I do like where it's at. Hopefully we'll get maybe a little more support, not necessarily Alien, but maybe a little more Reptile support that will help push this deck over the edge. But that will do it for me today. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, if you like aliens, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. But also make sure to subscribe on your way out, and I will catch you in the next video.